Welcome to SEDES English. My name is Sam, and today we're going to be looking at WH questions in simple present, and we're also going to use the auxiliary words do and does. So now let's look at our formula. Okay, so my formula tells me that I first need a WH word. Okay, and these are my WH words, and I will explain them when we get to them. And then, after we have the WH words, we have the auxiliary words. You either have the word do or the word does. Now, how do you know which one you're going to use? Well, it all depends on the subject or the person that you're speaking about. If you're speaking in I, you, we, or they, then you have to use the word do. If you are using the third person, he, she, it, then you have to use the word does. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you're going to start building your sentences. So after the auxiliary, we need the subject. But like I said, it all depends. These two are very important to one another, okay? And then we need the verb. Now, because we're speaking in simple present, the verb must be the base form of it, okay? The simple verb. And lastly, you need that question mark, okay? It's a question, so it's very important that you include that question mark. So let's start with the WH word what, okay? And what, if you are using it, what is asking for something specific, okay? So let's say, what do you study? Okay, so what do you study? So with the question, what, they want to know in particular or the specific of what is it that you study. So if my answer is, I study English, the specific thing that what is asking me is English, because that is what I study, okay? So just remember, if you see the WH question that includes the word what, it's asking for something in specific, okay? Now, let's look at the next question. When, okay? So, when is used for when you're asking about time, okay? So, I can say, when do you work? When do you work? When do you work? That's asking me for specific time. It could be an hour, it could be a day, it could be any time that, as long as it's a time. So when do you work? You can say I work on Monday and Tuesday, or you can say I work at 2, because those are different times. So when do you work? I work at 2. So when? 2. Where? When we ask where, we're looking for a place or a location. Okay, so that is what that is asking for. Where? So I can say, let's switch it up. Let's use the word does. Where does he work? So where does he work? I can say I work at SEDES, the school, okay? The specific place that where is asking for is SEDES, because that is a location, that is a place. So where does he work? He works at SEDES. Okay, so why? When do we use why? Why is used when you want a reason, right? What is your reason to, why did you do something? We can ask, why does she sleep early? So this is a little bit different, and this one I added a little bit extra to my question, but it's still the same. It's still the same. It still works. Okay. So why does she sleep early? So remember, why is for a reason. So why does she sleep early? Maybe she works in the morning, right? So why does she sleep early? She works early in the morning. Good. Now let's look at the word who. Now, when you're asking who, it might, well, all these questions are a little bit intrusive, but who, you're asking for a certain person, okay? So that is the difference between who and the rest of them. You're asking for a person, okay? That is what you are, that's a specific item that you're asking for. Remember, this one is a reason, this one is a place, This one is a time. This one is a specific item or thing. Who is for a specific person. So let's say, so this question is a little bit intrusive, asking for a little bit too much, right? But who do you live with? You can say, I live with my mom, I live with my dad, I live with my wife, I live with my husband, whoever it might be, right? Who do you live with? You're asking for a person, okay? And now let's see how. How is wanting to know the process, okay? How is different from who, because who is a person. How is wanting to know the process of something that got done, okay? So I can say, how do you get to work? So how do you get to work? Good. So this question is asking an explanation of your process on going to work. So how do you get to work? And you can say, I get to work by my car. I get to work on a bus. Alrighty, so let's have a quick recap, okay? So remember, what do you study? What is asking for a specific thing, right? Specific to what do you study? I study English. So my answer is English. What do you study? English. Now, let's look at the second word. When do you work? So when do you work? When is asking for a specific time. It could be an hour. It could be a day. So when do you work? I work on Monday. Where does he work? Where is asking for a specific place, okay? So where does he work? You can say he works at the school. He works at the post office. Why does she sleep early? Why is asking for a reason. So why does she sleep early? Because she works in the morning, okay? Remember, usually with the question why, you're gonna have the answer because it's a reason. And then who do you live with? Who is asking for a person? You're trying to find out the person, okay? So who do you live with? I live with my wife. How do you get to work? How is an explanation of your process, okay? So remember your formula. Your WH goes first, then your auxiliary. But your auxiliary depends on your subject, okay? Which I have right here. And then it's your subject, your verb, and your question mark. Hopefully this was of some help to you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below or send us an email. And thank you.